Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This week, the President urged Congress to pass the infrastructure component of the American Jobs Act and continue to take executive actions to strengthen the economy and put Americans back to work. The President also celebrated Diwali and hosted Halloween, signed 2 executive actions to help middle-class families and create jobs, welcomed NASA astronauts to the Oval Office, and hosted local television news anchors from across the country. That's October 28th to November 3rd, or Let's Get Moving.
What's holding us back? Let's get moving and put America back to work.
On Friday, the President kicked off this West Wing Week by lighting the ceremonial candle at a White House reception in honor of Diwali, the South Asian Festival of Lights. Meanwhile, a volunteer team of All Hallows Eve enthusiasts busily geared up for Halloween weekend at the White House. On Saturday, the President and First Lady welcomed Harry Potters and their kin from local elementary schools and military families for the annual White House trick-or-treat. Later that evening, the President attended the Italian American Heritage Foundation Gala, where he spoke of our shared past and our responsibility to future generations, no matter our heritage.
I do not, in fact, have any Italian ancestry. Not all of us are that lucky. We've always been, and we will always be, a nation of immigrants from all over the world. And out of many, somehow we're able to forge ourselves into one people.
On Monday, the President signed an executive order in the Oval Office to prevent consumers from being gouged by the high cost of prescription drugs.
Congress has been trying since February to do something about this. It has not yet been able to get it done, and it is the belief of this administration, as well as folks like Bonnie and Jay, that we can't wait for action on the Hill. We've got to go ahead and move forward.
On Tuesday, the President hosted local television anchors from Virginia, Florida, Texas, Nebraska, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Arizona, and Oregon to urge Congress to pass the American Jobs Act, to create jobs and put money back in the pockets of 160 million American workers right away.
The American people are right to be frustrated. The economy is not where it needs to be. There are steps we can take right now that would put people back to work. My jobs plan. Independent economists have said it would create as many as 1.9 million jobs, grow the economy by as much as an extra 2%. And it contains ideas that traditionally have gotten support from Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. And in fact, the majority of the American people agree with these kinds of proposals, rebuilding our roads and bridges and rebuilding our schools, putting teachers back in the classroom, providing tax breaks to small businesses to hire veterans or the long-term unemployed. So this is something we can do right now.
Back in the Oval Office, the President welcomed the crew of the space shuttle Atlantis.
I always like cool stuff from NASA.
He then signed a proclamation designating Fort Monroe as a national monument under the Antiquities Act. Local analysts estimate it would help create thousands of jobs in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
As I said, there's a strong economic component to this. We think we can see additional jobs in Virginia as a consequence of this, but for those members of Congress who are here, I still need some action from Congress on the American Jobs Act and other steps. But in the meantime, this is going to make a big difference.
On Wednesday, the President spoke in front of Washington's historic Key Bridge and urged Congress to pass the transportation piece of the American Jobs Act, which would put hundreds of thousands of construction workers back on the job, rebuilding America's roads, railways, and runways.
You can't deny that infrastructure does create jobs. Okay, so if the Speaker of the House, the Republican leader in the Senate, all the Democrats all say that this is important to do, why aren't we doing it? Let's get moving and put America back to work.
The President then took off for an overnight journey to France for a summit with leaders of the world's economic powers. On Thursday, the President got going with the work of the G20 in Cannes, France, where he immediately focused on the most urgent challenge for the entire G20, strengthening the global economic recovery and resolving the financial crisis in Europe. To find out more information on any of these topics or to see complete videos of these events, go to whitehouse.gov. And thanks again for checking out your West Wing Week.
Oh, the jacket. All right, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. It matches my tie and everything.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.